questions? Yeah, we had some technical issues today, but it doesn't matter, it happens. For example, if we can talk about, we'll start with the first one, which was at the end of the list, sustainable tourism by promoting the popular culture of hammams, a tangible and intangible heritage case study, Damascus City. It seems that this study is promising, but I feel, or I find that it lacked some information about these buildings or hammams in specifically, if there's intention for the authors for further studies, to conduct further studies, this could be a very promising topic. We don't have a lot about information about hammams, and I encourage you to go with this because, yeah, it's so interesting. For the other, enhancing a perception of urban tourism in historic areas, Muharrak as a case study. This is also a question about, I think there are many topics about the social aspect and how the community itself can help with encouraging tourism and protecting cultural heritage, or or participating in doing so. So this study also could, I have a question for the author about PhD candidate Afaf Ibrahim Muhammad and Professor Islam Hamdi Al-Ghunaimi. So what do you think, or I have a question about how, to what extent could you reach the community in Bahrain to participate in this? Have you, do you have, for example, educational programs for children, for teenagers, or also adults in colleges and universities? Do you focus on this in Bahrain?
Thank you very much for your question. I think for this research, because it's quite new for the people now, because let's say Muharraq is quite settled as a city, and it's quite residential and it's quite quiet, and people are very familiar with their environment there. So if we are now trying to bring tourists in that area, so we don't want to disturb that tranquility that they are facing. So we are entering a new era, and we are introducing something new in this area. We have like in mind, like there will be some benefits and there will be some negatives as well. So before we do that, we need to have a proper planning for it. So for this research, it's as we said, like this is explanatory. We want to see what people know about tourism in this area. Are they opening up for this idea to be there? We reached for people from different backgrounds, from residents, from educators, even some researchers in this area as well, just to see their insight about it. Is it acceptable as an idea to focus on Muharraq being a destination or not? Of course, I mean, in the fishbone diagram that we did, like this is something giving you like some potentials to develop this area. Some of them is being aware of what is needed as in terms of education, improving all that, maybe even from young age, from the young generation can be educated about this, so they will be open up for this development.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
We have a question. Thank you very much for your answer. We have like a question or suggestion. Is it necessary to develop heritage sites with tourism as perspective? What is the threshold? Can we just let them be to learn from them? And the question from NK, I don't know.
Not sure the question, what is meant by just let them be to learn from them. What does that mean?
Can we just let them be to learn from them? I don't know. Maybe learn. Yeah, it's not clear.
Not clear. But from my understanding, is it based only on perspective for us to develop this heritage, develop heritage sites? I think, as we said in the beginning, the tourism industry depends on the social aspect as well. If they collide, if they go against each other, the residents and the tourists, then the development will not succeed. So we need to create this kind of synergy in between. We need to see if the people are accepting it, so that they don't have this kind of opposition in between. So that it will be beneficial for all aspects, for the residents, locals, tourists, and it will be it's a benefit for all aspects. That's why it's important to know if they are ready for this kind of transition.
Yeah, I think raising awareness is a major thing to think about, and it's
Exactly.
shared by most of the research. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Thank you very
So
much.
this, yeah, you are welcome. This question also, NK suggests that everyone or anyone of the presenters can share this opinion on this. So if anyone wants to just jump in the discussion, you're welcome. There is a clarification from NK. It's talking of exploration of resources based on tourist population in peak seasons and clash with the host population. Mr. This explains a little bit. We want to be even with everyone. So if anyone has question about the other scholars, about the other presentations, I hope you write down your question in the chat or just raise your hand. Okay. No questions?
If I may,
Yeah, of course, please.
can I add a little detail? When speaking about tourism destinations, especially World Heritage sites, we find that the tourism as activity comes naturally to the destination in regards to its attractiveness, to its heritage attractiveness. If we take, for instance, any World Heritage sites, mine, for example, the Rizal Valley, which is which has 40 years of label within the UNESCO World Heritage List. We find that for a long time there was no ongoing strategy for the tourism development. There was no sustainable way of making tourism, and that led to increase in mass tourism in the destination. Automatically, in the time, let's say in the last 10 years, the tourism has exponentially grown in the destination, making it making it maybe the first destination in the Saharan region of Algeria, and one of the biggest destinations within the country. So a development strategy was necessary in order to limit and organize tourism and organize practices within the valley to ensure its sustainability and its respect to local population, which is I insist on the fact that it is a living heritage, a very traditional community that is connected to its social and religious values. So mass tourism was in this had more of a negative impact to the destination than positive impact. So yes, it is necessary to develop heritage sites within tourism in perspective, because it is a natural development perspective, let's say.
Yeah, correct. Thank you for the information. And you are you three in total or two scholars on this study, enhancing culture, tourism in Mazab? Okay, I think this is, yeah, PhD candidate Noor Huda. Okay, any other question? It's so important to have all of this care and focus on protecting cultural heritage, whatever it is, built environment, natural landscapes. We need to have this increased awareness about this and focus on research, of course, using research for that. So we have, so we will start the next session if everyone is done. I think that's all. Yes, we can. Thank you very much for your attendance, for the presenters, for their valuable research and their diligence and hard work. We need to thank the ICC UAA 24 conference board, and we hope we meet next year or in other sessions. Thank you very much, and excuse us for any technical issues. Afaf Ibrahim, if you have a question, please. Yes, go ahead. We will see what Afaf has, and then we can.
Sorry, I was just giving you a thumbs up, thanking you for your session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh. Thank you. I felt confused and a little bit stressed because of the technical issues, but thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Aida.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aida.
Well, the next session, how are you, everyone? Good morning. So this is the next session, which is the same category on heritage and cultural landscape, group 3. So the topic of this session will be conversion and conservation, basically adaptive reuse and conservation. I am Albertus Wang. I am the chair of this group from the University of Florida School of Architecture, Graduate School of Architecture. And I'm also the director of the University of Florida Master of Science in Architectural Studies, Sustainable Design. My co-chair for this group is Professor Alani, Najla bin Al-Nasser Alani. I wonder if Professor Alani is here. But anyway, I haven't really been in touch I have not been successful to be in touch with Professor Alani. So let me probably discuss a little bit of the significance of the topic. Heritage and cultural landscape is significant because it encapsulates history, aesthetic and social value of a region, and reflecting its unique identity and tradition, which is the topic that shared by most all of the presenter. Conversion and conservation effort in the context are crucial for preserving this landscape, ensuring that they retain their cultural significance while adapting to contemporary needs. So maintaining a bridge between the present, the past, the present, and also for future generations. So basically, that's the subject matter that we are going to discuss today, based on the video that we received for this session. Let me see the message. Hold on, I'm reading. Okay. And then let me introduce the presenter today. And forgive me if I don't pronounce your name correctly. The first group or the presenter would be myself, and then also Dr. Sujin Kim, who cannot come today, and apologize for that. Again, I'm from the University of Florida Graduate School of Architecture, and Professor Dr. Sujin Kim is from Hampton University in Virginia. The next group will be Professor M.A. Nur Bohola from National School, Paris, Val de Seine in France. Again, if I don't pronounce your name correctly, forgive me. The third group will be PhD candidate Srigowi Mangal Vede, and also Associate Professor Dr. Rasmi Niranjan, and also Assistant Professor, Master of Science, Teju V. Goda, from School of Architecture, RIT in Bangalore. And then the fourth presenter will be Dr. Wuru Turki and Dr. Amine Hadstayeb from University of Sfax in Tunisia. And then the last but not least will be Assistant Professor Ateka Nurwala, and also Associate Professor Dr. Roxane Ragbarian from Wiswakarma University and also Alanya University. So that would be our presenter. So if you don't have any immediate question, we are going to just go ahead with the presentation. Any immediate question? And again, I apologize if I don't pronounce your name correctly. One second, sorry. Share. Hello, my name is Alberto Wang. I'm a faculty at the University of Florida. Is the voice okay? Okay. Great. Hello, my name is Alberto Wang. I'm a faculty at the University of Florida Graduate School of Architecture. I'm also the program director for the Master of Science in Architectural Studies, Sustainable Design. The co-author for this paper is Dr. Sujin Kim from the Department of Architecture at Hampton University in Virginia. The title we choose for this paper is Twice Told Tales About Love Toward Immortality. Allow us to delay a little bit before explaining how this title comes about. The problem statement we put forward covered three main points. The first point, conventionally adaptive reuse is placed between preservation and demolition. Not good enough for preservation, but too good to be demolished. Second point, adaptive reuse is placed between history and the present. We are interested in the idea of how the old evolve into the new, a palimpsestic outcome that we see in the work of Carlos Scarpa, for example. The old doesn't become new, and the new doesn't mimic the old, but both celebrate each other. The third point, adaptive reuse, is often presented as a project concerned on its functionality and economy and building tech, such as energy saving, various construction material, and so on and so forth. But adaptively renewed building must transcend mere functionality, encompassing history and memory to shape the identity of a place. In this case, all buildings serve as historical witness, employing a narrative that contribute to the cultural richness of their surroundings. The first part of the title, Twice Told Tales, talks about our research topic. From the bibliography of this paper, we can select two main literatures. The first literature is an article by Lucy Taxa, written in 2007, titled Nostalgia and Nostrophobia. This is the image referred to the god of Janos, which is really talking about these two juxtaposition, nostalgia and nostrophobia. The key to her article is a difficult call to preserve the historical physical remnant, but most importantly, also the preservation of its geist or its spirit. The second literature is an article that I and Calliope Kontozoglu wrote in 2021, titled The Navel of Earth versus the Imagination of Human Desire. Kontozoglu and I emphasize the evolution from old to new, illustrating how preservation connects to sustainability. Within this context, adaptive reuse embodies a philosophical dimension rooted in our relationship with nature and the role of memory, referred as sacred and central to our sense of purpose in life. These two articles contribute to the initial segment of the title, Twice Told Tales. It is precisely that in this case, memory serves as the canvas for poetic storytelling, where every retelling of a tale, whether told twice or more, unveils a fresh interpretation. We discuss about architecture from Vitruvius' treatise, Utilitas Firmistas Venustas. We question what happened with memory. Did Vitruvius forget memory? Maybe Vitruvius should have proposed Utilitas Firmistas Venustas Memoria in his treatise. How do architecture, the city, and memory work together? In fact, of all faculties, memory has the most to do with the physicality of architecture. Why so? In his book titled The Lives of Most Eminent Painters, Sculptors, and Architects, Giorgio Vasari introduced a term, architecture. The first time this term, architecture, was being used, a new profession, a school of thought. Giorgio Vasari defined architecture as the mother of all arts. In Greek mythology, the mother of all arts, Mnemosyne, is also the goddess of memory. That means that architecture, the mother of all arts, the goddess of memory, are the same one goddess. Her name is Mnemosyne. The second part of the title, About Love Toward Immortality, refers to the mixed methodology we use. Those are documentation and hermeneutic interpretation. About Love refers to Alberto Perez Gomez's books titled Built Upon Love, written in 2006. From his book, he described love as manifestation of architecture. He talks about two main forms of love: primordial eros, the poetic part of architecture, and philia, the ethical part of architecture. Both must coexist. To think about architectural sustainability and adaptive reuse, all three interrelated subjects must embrace eros and philia, he argued. The second subcomponent of the title, Toward Immortality, refers to what Diotima describes about love, which is experienced by mortals who yearn toward immortality. I'm referring to Diotima, the second protagonist in Platonic Dialogues Symposium. Diotima says that that love is not a god, but it wants to become one. It is not immortal, but it wants to become immortal. It is toward immortality. It is in perpetual yearning to reach that future aim, which is to become immortal. Being mortal for phenomenological discourse is important. Being mortals is about being in the world, in this world. Yearning to become immortals in phenomenological discourse is also what motivates us to keep going until we reach our mortality. This motivation of mortals toward immortality is also a motivation that architecture embodies. And in adaptive reuse, this motivation exists and persists. To establish the foundation for this hybrid methodology, combining documentation and hermeneutics interpretation, this paper uses our current case study analysis, our current documentation project for a historic building located in Orlando, Florida, the Bob Carr Theater. As the Bob Carr Theater approaches the end of its lifespan, the building is situated in a precarious position between preservation and demolition, not quite suitable for preservation, yet too valuable for outright demolition. This case study is a relatable case to explain our argument and a research topic. In the conclusion and contribution, by revealing the different period of time embedded within its framework, we encourage a nuanced juxtaposition between the old and the new, fostering a dynamic interplay where the old evolves into the new and vice versa. Furthermore, historical continuity doesn't imply a singular language, where the distinction between the old and the new become indistinguishable. Thank you. Okay. Great. So that's the first presentation. The second presentation will be presented by M.A. Noor Bohola from National School Paris Val de Seine in France. The title will be Between Heritage and Innovation, the delicate balance with existing heritage in architectural design. So, let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on 1 second. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed researchers, my presentation today will focus on the delicate balance between heritage and innovation in architectural design. This paper delves into the fundamental question of integrating existing heritage into contemporary architectural endeavors. In the architect's creative journey, integrating existing heritage stands as a pivotal challenge. Whether it's a centuries-old cathedral, a culturally significant landmark, or a humble neighborhood house, each structure carries the weight of history and tradition. These buildings are not just physical entities, but repositories of stories, craftsmanship, and societal evolution. They connect us to our past, anchoring us in our cultural identity, while simultaneously posing questions about our future direction. Architects face a delicate balance when integrating existing heritage into their designs. On one hand, it offers a rich source of inspiration, providing insights into architectural styles, techniques, and materials that have stood the test of time. By drawing from this wealth of tradition, architects can create spaces that resonate with a sense of continuity and tradition, enriching the fabric of our built environment. However, integrating existing heritage also presents challenges. Preservation regulations, conservation concerns, and public expectations may impose limitations on design freedom, constraining architects in their quest to innovate and explore new possibilities. Navigating the tension between preservation and innovation is a central challenge for architects. Preservation aims to safeguard the legacy of the past, preserving cultural identity and architectural heritage for the future generations. Yet, this commitment to preservation can sometimes clash with the imperative to innovate and respond to contemporary needs. The debate over whether heritage is a source of inspiration or a limitation in architectural design is longstanding. Some view heritage as enriching architectural design, imbuing it with history, culture, and craftsmanship. By drawing from the rich tapestry of tradition, architects can create spaces that resonate with meaning and significance. To grasp the nuances of heritage restoration, we must delve into the contrasting viewpoints of influential theorists from the 19th century. Urbanism stands as a pioneering figure advocating for reinvention and restoration. His radical thesis proposes that restoring a building entails bringing it back to a hypothetical complete state, even if such state never truly existed. However, he establishes strict conditions for this approach, emphasizing the necessity of basing restoration on scientific evidence such as photographs and archaeological studies. Modifications are allowed only if they align with these findings, preserving the building's historical value while ensuring stability and conservation. In stark contrast, Ruskin offers a vehement critique of reinvention and restoration itself. He champions authenticity and opposes any alteration that deviates from the building's original state. For Ruskin and his fellow romantics, the monument should be maintained discreetly with ruins, reserved as the ultimate expression of monumental beauty. They argue that the true essence of a work of art lies in its authenticity, finding aesthetic harmony in its genuine state. In the late 19th century, Lucas Beltrami and Camille Bontou emerged as key figures with opposing visions regarding heritage restoration. Beltrami's vision emphasizes the integral role of the restorer as a historian. He advocates for interventions based on documentary evidence, viewing historical accuracy as paramount in restoration efforts. In contrast, Bontou rejects romantic and historical notions of restoration, instead advocating for conservation. For Bontou, respect for monuments and preservation of authenticity are essential. He prioritizes consolidation to ensure the integrity of the original structure. These conflicting perspectives persisted until 1931, when Boitou's principles gained recognition and were adopted in the Athens Conference. This marked a significant shift in restoration philosophy, with conservation and authenticity becoming guiding principles in heritage preservation. In contemplating architecture's role in historical continuity, Jean-Marie Thieu offers a perspective that underscores the dynamic relationship between architecture and time. He posits that architecture is not just a static entity, but an integral part of historical continuity, responding to the needs of each era and its inhabitants. Dittier emphasizes that architectural intervention transforms a site, contributing to the ongoing history of society. He advocates for an approach that humbly accepts this reality, acknowledging architecture's role in enriching the history of a place. Contrastingly, Rem Koolhaas presents a provocative critique of historical constraints in his concept of the generic city. Koolhaas views existing and past structures as limiting factors that hinder societal evolution. He envisions a city liberated from the constraints of center and identity, where present needs and abilities dictate architectural form. Koolhaas portrays the generic city as a pragmatic solution devoid of historical baggage and easy to maintain. He suggests that the city should self-destruct and renew as needed without the burden of history impeding its progress. Cities serve as repositories of history shaped by the interplay of past and present layers, forming what can be described as urban palimpsests. These layers, akin to parchment, bear the imprint of successive marks from different epochs, capturing the evolving essence of each place. They stand as both material and symbolic testimonies of human society's history and evolution. An illustrative example is found in Lucca, where contemporary constructions rise above an ancient Roman amphitheater, showcasing the spontaneous reuse of existing structures. The concept of authenticity in architectural preservation is multifaceted, encompassing the historically attested substantial characteristics of a building from its original state to its current form, shaped by multiple transformations over time. However, recent events such as the fire at Notre Dame de Paris have brought the notion to the forefront, sparking debate over the reconstruction process. The Notre Dame fire underscores the tension between preserving heritage and accepting change with authenticity at its core. It prompts us to consider how significant events, even those deemed destructive, can be integrated into the continuity of architectural history. Ultimately, recognizing and accepting events as they occurred may be another way to honor authenticity, acknowledging that a building story is woven with multiple threads, some of which are unexpected and tragic, but nonetheless integral to its narrative. Japan offers a unique perspective on heritage preservation, challenging the dichotomy between opportunity and constraint that often characterizes the discussion on the subject. The exemplary case of Ise Shrine serves as a fascinating example highlighting the importance of continuity and transmission in the preservation of built heritage. Unlike many other cultures, Japan's approach embraces change and renewal as intrinsic elements of preservation. At the heart of this approach is the practice of periodic reconstructions, where old buildings are regularly dismantled and rebuilt using inherited traditional techniques. This practice emphasizes the value of authenticity passed down through generations, preserving the essence and meaning of heritage. As we reflect on the diverse approaches of various cultures to heritage preservation, it becomes evident that there is no definitive or singular path to addressing our existing heritage. Each culture brings its unique perspective to the table, enriching the discourse surrounding heritage preservation and architectural innovation. In an era where the environmental impact of human activity is increasingly evident, the role of architecture in sustainable development has become paramount. In today's world, where available space for new developments is increasingly scarce, the imperative to repurpose and adapt existing structures has never been more pressing.
Thank you. So the next presenter will be PhD candidate Srigowi Mangavede, and also with co-author Associate Professor Rashmi Niranjan and Assistant Professor Teju V. Gowda.
Hello everyone, this is my paper on adaptive reuse of Lalbagh Heritage Library in Bengaluru. The context of this paper is to study and demonstrate the adaptive reuse of the historical buildings of Bangalore, focusing on the Dr. M.H. Marigowda National Horticultural Library in Lalbagh, which is taken up as a case study. The aim is to study the adaptive reuse of the National Library, which was a formal residential building and now a completely functional horticultural library. The objective of the paper is to understand the historical and cultural significance of the library, to find the social and cultural impact of the architectural style and the heritage structures, analyze the restoration and renovations the library has gone through, evaluate the current state and challenges, and do the SWOT analysis. The methodology used is detailed interviews that we have had with the students, the scholars, and the library administrators, etc., to have a word of mouth first-hand information. Then site visit and area of study of Lalbagh Heritage Library, and also an exhaustive literature review that has given us an ample amount of information that we have synthesized to come up with a few strategies for adaptive reuse. Bangalore, also known as Bengaluru, is a garden city of India. It is located in the southern part of Karnataka, and Lalbagh is a neighborhood which is nestled in the Jayanagar area of Bangalore. The garden city of Bengaluru boasts not only just of Lalbagh but other beautiful gardens and parks that have existed for centuries. Other gardens and parks are Kaban Park, GKVK, and JP Park, to name a few. Lalbagh, which is in the heart of Bangalore, stands for about 250 years old, and this is spanning across 240 acres. This was commissioned at first by Hyder Ali, ruler of Mysore, and later expanded by his son Tipu Sultan, and then later taken over by the British Raj in Bengaluru. The climate in Bengaluru is very temperate, and the materials that have been used for the construction of the infrastructure are locally available materials. They are locally sourced stone, bricks, wood, plaster, and terracotta. The colonial buildings of Bangalore reflect a blend of functionality and aesthetics that are adapted to the city's climatic conditions. Some of the elements are steeped pitched roof, then large airy rooms, deep verandas and porches, decorative moldings, lowered windows, awnings, courtyards, etc. So there are innumerable number of these colonial buildings in Bangalore that are waiting to be reused for a better purpose and not go waste. So there's an adaptive reuse case study that we have done in China, which was an adaptive reuse of a traditional Chinese courtyard into a library. So basically, the courtyard is a hidden gem in one of the provinces in China, and it now holds a huge collection of all the young Thai, and Qingdao Peninsula history and its local culture and oral history collected from the recording works. So this library is not just a quiet library, but is bustling with life. Lectures, workshops, exhibitions, and even community entertainment programs are a part of this city's cultural library. The design process was a restoration of the original walls, doors, and windows, and other architectural elements carried out at the beginning. Most of the original features and materials were retained. Steel, a material that complements the historic brick and stone, has been used throughout. So basically, the site has 3 bungalows, and there are 3 areas of vegetation around the perimeter. The central courtyard is divided into smaller sections and courtyards. So each section serves as a space for different purpose. There's an on-site cafe, there's a kitchen, an outdoor gallery, and space for exhibitions and events. So this transformation of a residential building involved the consideration of external elements and internal spatial factors. So they both had to be looked into for a respectful contemporary new design. Lal Bagh has some structures that have been in a neglected condition. So for over 100-year-old Krumbigal Hall that was just demolished, it was a loss of a very handsome colonial building. So such adaptive reuse techniques can be established to reuse the buildings in a better sensitive way. Adaptive reuse of historical buildings represents a sustainable and culturally sensitive approach. This is one of the main primary needs of adaptive reuse. Neglected historical buildings often contribute to urban blight and decay. Reusing existing buildings reduces the environmental effect. Repurposed historical buildings serve as focal points for community engagement. And these are a good challenge for architects and designers. Repurposed historical buildings offer opportunities for experiential learning. Thus, reuse and adaptive reuse of M.H. Marigowda National Horticultural Library is studied here. This building is a 150-year-old building and that served as a house of superintendent of garden and existed since 1839. Several curators have lived in this house, and the last one was Gustav Hermann Krumbiegel, succeeded by Cameron as the first director in 1932. The house that time had wooden trellises, a garden, and a bird bath, also along with the other elements. The water cascade that connects to the garden's large water tank was planned in 1935, a little later after its construction. A tennis court was also part of the house once upon a time. The bungalow had a few renovations during the course of time, with its wooden floor first restored in 1908. Lack of maintenance and decay through time warranted another renovation in 2014. So at first, Intact was consulted and they tried to come up with a plan. But the library was not in cohesion with them and they had to be dropped out of the actual planning committee. So the library went with their own way of constructing and restoring the building with a very newly painted shade of blue and purple in a contemporary style. So the building was not accessible for the public during its restoration and now is open after a lot of renovations and restorations to the public. So the roof was restored. There are 3 types of roofs: the Madras roof, the jack arch, and the regular sloping roof. And the wooden trellises outside were restored, and the courtyard entrance was also restored, and some of the interior renovations are that have been transformed spaces to accommodate the new usage of the building. So there's a new reading room, there's a locker room, and a computer room. So some of the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats of the study were done and analyzed accordingly. Also, there have been some theories that were adopted to do the best use of adaptive reuse. So, theories of Lefebvre and Bordeaux were used. So, Lefebvre's social production of space and Bordeaux's theory of cultural capital are both combined to see what is the best outcome for an adaptive reuse building. And the implications of these theories also gives us the best adaptive reuse restorations that can be seen. They can come up with multifunctional spaces, digital accessibility for the underprivileged, open and welcoming design of the construction of the newer annexes, the community collaborations, the urban regeneration through placemaking, heritage conservation and cultural sustainability, and also it can be doubled as an educational hub. So Lalbagh's heritage fosters cultural exchange, contributes to the social, economic, and cultural and environmental well-being of India. So this has a potential to be thought as an urban design that respects the past, empowers the present, and ensures a sustainable future. So in Bengaluru, numerous stunning historical colonial buildings face the risk of abandonment and obscurity. These invaluable cultural treasures, due to neglect, are vulnerable for deterioration. So the successful adaptive reuse of Lal Bagh serves as a compelling model for restoration of other neglected historical buildings in Bangalore. Through such initiatives, these forgotten architectural gems can be transformed into vibrant, inclusive spaces to pay homage to their heritage while meeting the evolving needs of the current and future communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
The team is looking down the barrel of.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's that?
Can they turn it around and make this meeting an email?
Jones.
That's the problem of technology. I apologize. The next one is a paper presented by Dr. Wuru Turki and Dr. Amine Hatstayev. Let's see.
Hello.
Today we are presenting our research entitled The Integration of Troglodyte Architecture into Contemporary Architecture, a Fusion of Tradition and Modernity, the Case of Dar Hai in Nefta. Allow me to outline the structure of our presentation. We will commence with an overview of our study. Subsequently, we will explore the origins and evolution of troglodyte architecture, discussing its fundamental characteristics, construction techniques, and prominent examples from various parts of the world. Our focus shifts to Tunisia, where we will examine its rich troglodyte architectural heritage. We will address the importance of these sites and the ongoing efforts to secure their recognition as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Our main case study will delve into Dar Hai in Nefta, illustrating how traditional troglodyte principles have been seamlessly integrated into a contemporary design, thereby creating a unique blend of tradition and modernity. In conclusion, we will summarize our key findings, discuss the broader implications of our research. Troglodyte architecture, characterized by the utilization of natural caves or structures carved into rock, stands as a mesmerizing testament to humanity's adaptability to its surroundings. Known from historically rich regions such as Cappadocia in Turkey, Andalusia in Spain, and Provence in France, this architectural form not exudes an aesthetic but also embodies substantial advantages in terms of both energy efficiency and seamless integration with the natural environment. In the contemporary architectural landscape, the integration of troglodyte architectural principles presents an innovative viewpoint on design and construction methodologies. It reflects a deliberate to harmoniously merge traditional elements with the latest advancements in design, aspiring to craft sustainable, functional, and captivating living spaces. Troglodyte architecture has a long history dating back to antiquity. This form of construction has evolved over the centuries, finding its roots in different regions of the world. Thousands of years ago, the earliest signs of troglodyte architecture emerged when prehistoric humans were among the first to settle in natural shelters located in cliff caves, seeking refuge from the natural elements and predatory animals. The regions where troglodyte architecture flourished were specific, often characterized by rock formations particularly suited to this construction method. Troglodyte architecture demonstrates remarkable adaptability to often demanding environments. By rocky and rugged sites, troglodyte inhabitants found refuge in difficult-to-access regions, thus escaping the pressures of invaders and harsh environmental conditions. In Tunisia, troglodyte architecture is a significant component of the country's architectural heritage. The region of Matmata, situated in the south of Tunisia, is particularly renowned for its troglodyte houses. The troglodyte dwellings of Matmata are excavated into the ground, creating semi-underground structures. These houses typically feature a central courtyard surrounded by rooms carved into the cavity walls. This design offers excellent thermal insulation, helping maintain moderate temperatures despite the extreme desert climate. The village, of Amazigh origin in Matmata, is also characterized by houses dug directly into the soil composed of a mix of compact and friable quaternary clay. These dwellings are organized around a spacious well serving as an inner courtyard, around which different rooms are arranged, bedrooms, kitchen, sheepfold, and storage space, all opening onto the central courtyard. Troglodyte architecture in Tunisia presents considerable environmental and bioclimatic advantages, particularly in the context of local climatic conditions. By utilizing rock as the primary material, these dwellings benefit from excellent natural thermal insulation. In summer, they remain naturally cool, while in winter, they retain heat, creating a comfortable interior microclimate. Tunisia, rich in history and cultural heritage, harbors a unique architectural treasure: the caves of Sned, Gafsa, the troglodyte dwellings of Matmata, the ridge village of Tamazert, and finally, the Ksor, these fortified collective granaries that dot the landscape. These expressions of human creativity provide insight into how the inhabitants of these regions have harnessed the resources of their natural environment to design dwellings suited to sometimes challenging conditions. The request for the inclusion of troglodyte architecture in the UNESCO World Heritage is a crucial step toward preserving and showcasing this exceptional heritage. It aims to officially acknowledge the universal value of these sites and place them in a global perspective, thereby safeguarding them for future generations. On January 10, 2020, an official request for the inclusion of Tunisia's troglodyte architecture in the UNESCO World Heritage was submitted by the Permanent Delegation of Tunisia to UNESCO. In numerous regions, troglodyte architecture has become an essential element of cultural and architectural heritage. From rock-hewn churches adorned with frescoes to troglodyte houses with sculpted facades, these structures have become living testaments to human ingenuity and adaptation to the environment. Today, this tradition continues to influence contemporary architecture, with architects seeking to integrate the principles of troglodyte architecture into modern designs, creating a fascinating fusion of tradition and modernity. This evolution illustrates the adaptability of troglodyte architecture and its continued relevance in the contemporary world. The creation of Dar Hafta is a concrete example of this successful fusion between tradition and modernity. Indeed, this luxury hotel embodies harmony between contemporary architecture and authentic elements of the local culture. With its 18 luxury rooms offering spectacular views of the Tunisian desert, it demonstrates how troglodyte architecture principles can be innovatively reinterpreted. Furthermore, Darhai's commitment to sustainable development and the use of environmentally friendly technologies attest to the ongoing relevance of this approach in the contemporary world. Darhai's architectural style can be described as an example of contemporary heritage. It stands out for its harmonious integration into its surroundings, successfully combining the old with the new by using traditional materials while incorporating modern technologies. The preservation of local culture is a core value at Darhai, evident from the moment one enters through a traditional palm gate. This design reflects the authenticity and attachment to the traditions of the Nefta region. The sustainable construction strategies implemented by the hotel are numerous. The construction materials and decorations are purely natural, such as Nefta stones, marble, palm, organic cotton, wool, alpha, etc. Paint has been replaced with natural lime plaster with natural colorants. Moreover, the materials are locally sourced to minimize transportation costs and energy. The visitor experience at Darhai is carefully designed to offer a complete immersion in the authenticity and local culture of the Nefta region. Every aspect of the environment, be it the architecture, decorative elements, or aesthetic choices, is intended to faithfully reflect the essence of this place. The use of natural material contributes to creating a deep connection with the local environment. The simplicity and harmony emanating from both indoor and outdoor spaces create a welcoming atmosphere. The room layouts, color choices and decorative elements are designed to provide an immersive sensory and emotional experience. Every detail is meticulously crafted to evoke the soul of Nefta and its culture. Each room features a private terrace, providing an outdoor space to relax and enjoy the surrounding landscape. Moreover, the troglodyte rooms are interconnected by a waterfall and an authentic bread oven, adding an extra dimension to the immersive experience offered. This design strengthens the connection between different spaces and creates a friendly and harmonious ambience within the establishment. This thoughtful approach results in fostering a memorable and enriching stay for visitors. By living this experience, they have the opportunity to authentically connect with the place and its inhabitants, while benefiting from the comfort and quality service of a high-end establishment. Therefore, the synergy between modernity and authenticity is also reflected in the overall visitor experience. By staying at Darhai, visitors have the chance to experience contemporary living while being immersed in Nefta's rich culture and history. It's this blend of traditional elements and contemporary innovations that makes Darhai a place where the past and present harmoniously converge. The experience offered at Darhai goes beyond mere accommodation. It provides a genuine opportunity for cultural and sensory exploration, leaving a lasting imprint in the memories of visitors. The architectural marvel of Darhai in Nefta stands as a testament to the seamless integration of historical legacy with modern innovation. Through a meticulous blend of modernity and authenticity, Darhai offers an unparalleled experience, immersing visitors in the cultural tapestry and heritage of the Nefta region. This convergence of elements, spanning architecture, decor, and sustainable initiatives, underscores a profound dedication to preserving local identity while embracing contemporary advancements. Far beyond its designation as a luxury hotel, Darhai represents an architectural narrative transcending temporal confines. It serves as a living embodied of architecture's capacity to transcend epochs, creating spaces deeply resonant with the essence of a community and its landscape. It stands not merely as a structure, but as a testament to the harmonious marriage between design principles and the soul of a place. Moreover, Darhai serves as an inspiring exemplar showcasing how authenticity can intertwine seamlessly, forging an indelible and immersive encounter for its esteemed visitors. By intertwining historical roots with modern sensibilities, Darhai offers an enduring experience that transcends mere accommodation, leaving an indelible mark on those fortunate enough to engage with its cultural narrative. In essence, Darhai Nefta epitomizes architecture's transformative power, embodying a living heritage that transcends eras, encapsulating the essence of a community, and offering a deeply enriching encounter for all privileged to partake in its ambience. References.
Thank you.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Turki and Dr. Tayyip. The last one, I have the recording. Hold on one second. The last one will be presented by Professor Nurwala and Rabarian Yard from University of Viswakarma and Alanya University. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'll be presenting my paper titled Uplifting Urban Spaces Through Adaptive Reuse of Socio-Cultural Environments through a case study on revitalizing of Bejatal, a historic water body in Gwalior, India. We will explore the importance of socio-cultural places in fostering a sense of community, particularly in the large cities. As we begin, we all know that urban population continue to grow. The future of human civilization increasingly hinges on the interplay between urban spaces and societal dynamics. The design and functionality of these spaces are critical as different types of urban areas support the distinctive activities of various social groups. Neglected public spaces lacking clear social purposes often suffer from disorganized transportation, inefficient parking, and other physical barriers, which diminish their usability and aesthetic value. High quality and well defined public spaces are essential for fostering vibrant human activities. We all know modern pollution areas are key drivers of economic growth and innovation. As cities expand, they become more culturally diverse and socially heterogeneous. Urban populations increasingly comprise individuals from various nationalities, languages, religions, and social strata, a trend expected to intensify in the future. Cities therefore play a vital role in in preserving the cultural heritage of their habitats. Social interactions involve meaningful contact between people, encompassing genuine communication that leaves both the parties can feel connected. Good places for interaction are places where people, often from many parts of the community, come together from diverse backgrounds and meet naturally and interact, and often pleasurably because nature of attraction of the space and activities are associated with it. While defining social spaces, it is clearly known that where local people gather, converse, and create the unique vibe and character of the city. These social spaces reflect the social fabric of the community and are studied by sociologists and geographers. Social spaces, both physical and conceptual, serving an realm where cultural life is enacted. It is not passive container, but it is actively shaped by social interaction, in turn influences social behavior and structures. The key advantages of these social spaces are to foster community pride and ownership, build the true community amongst the drivers group, increase the safety and security, enhance the community enjoyment, promote cultural understanding, increase equity, build social capital, and facilitate community action and social change. In short, social spaces are not just physical but are also conceptual, the realm where cultural life is enacted. As a designer, urban planners, and architects, we have significant responsibility in shaping public spaces that cater to diverse lifestyle within the cities. This professionals must consider various factors to create environment that enhance the quality of for all the residents. The few of the characteristics can be understanding diverse lifestyle, the space that promotes inclusivity, fostering the social interaction, enhancing the cultural heritage, ensuring safety and comfort, and providing accessibility. Now let's look at our case study of Bejatal. It's an urban heritage renewal in Gwalior, India. Throughout its history, Gwalior has played by various dynasties, each leaving their mark on the city's cultural and architectural landscape. The Scindia played a pivotal role in shaping Gwalior's architectural identity. The renowned for their patronage art and beauty, the Scindias commissioned several magnificent structures. The Moti Mahal Palace, with its exquisite artwork, exemplifies their architectural legacy. The Bejatal cultural complex built in memory of Sandhya Queen is another testament to their artistic contribution. The story of Bejatal. Bejatal has a rich history dating back to 18th century. Built by Daulat Rao Sandhya for his wife, this image depicts the Tal in its former state. This is a location where Bejatal was built. The Tal design incorporated a stop dam system drawing water from Swarnarekha River. Beyond providing water, Bejatal became an hub for social and cultural activities and groundwater recharge. This is an ancient photograph of Bejata Lake with two kiosk steps leading down to pool. The building Moti Mahal is beyond, which was the main government building in Gwalior. Within the India's independence, Bejatal fell into the neglect. The urban development and pollution from Swarnarekha River, as seen in this image, led up to drying up and contamination. The Tal became dumping ground, posing health hazard. Fortunately, a collaborative project with UNESCO kick-started the revitalization project. This project involved cleaning the water body, installing the functional fountains, and transforming the space into vibrant public environment. An open-air theater and art gallery were constructed, attracting the residents and tourists. Here is a timeline where we can see how over the years space was transformed through generations and generations. Rejuvenation and its impact. The revitalization project transformed Bejatal into visually appealing water body. The clean water and well-maintained surroundings, as seen in this image, create a pleasant environment. The public space with its open air theater and art gallery attracts visitors, fostering a vibrant cultural hub. This improved environment has the potential to increase the property values and attracts businesses, ultimately boosting the local economy. Despite its success, the revitalized Bejatal faces some challenges. The project dependence on treated water to maintain water levels might not be the sustainable solution in the long run. Continued efforts are required to prevent littering and ensure proper waste management practice in the surrounding area. Implementing rainwater harvesting or utilizing recycled water body could address water source dependence and ensure the project's long-term sustainability as depicted in this image. Now let's begin to the third part of the speech. When we talk about community, the concept of community has evolved over time. In the past, communities were often geographically identified. With time, people living in the close proximity sharing the common way of life. Today, in large cities, it can be more challenging to build sense of community. However, socio-cultural places play a vital role in bringing people together and fostering a sense of shared identity. During the India's independence, Bejatal fell into the neglect. The urban development and pollution from Swarnarekha River, as seen in this image, led up to drying up and contamination. The Tal became dumping ground. Urban environments can become isolating place. Many people live in close proximity to each other, but they may not have many opportunities to interact or build relationships. This can lead to feeling of loneliness and lack of social connections. Hence, there comes an importance of cultural places. Places where they are essential for creating vibrant, inclusive environments. They provide a neutral ground where people from different walks of life come together, interact, and learn more about each other. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to create a successful sociocultural spaces. However, there are a number of key characteristics that all successful spaces share. The space should be inviting, attractive, with something to offer to people of all ages and interests. It should also be safe and comfortable so that people they can relax, enjoy themselves. Finally, a space that should be accessible to everyone regardless of their ability and background. Here are the brief indicator matrix for good sociocultural spaces. So when we can see the revitalization of Bejatal has significantly improved its potential as a sociocultural space. It now offers more reasons to visit, prioritizes safety and comfort, and promotes accessibility. This transformation has potential to revitalize the surrounding area economically and culturally. The case of Bejatal in Gwalior demonstrates the profound impact of sociocultural places on urban areas. The thoughtful design, revitalization, and maintenance of spaces can create environments where people come together, interact, and build strong sense of community. The adaptive reuse of this historical and cultural environment, as shown by Bejatal, not only preserves heritage but also enhances the quality of urban life, making cities more vibrant, inclusive, and connected. So, to conclude, social spaces are foundation to our community life, enhancing quality of life, safety, culture, understanding, and social cohesion. As urban planners and designers, creating and maintaining these spaces is crucial for fostering vibrant, inclusive, and sustainable urban communities. By understanding the importance of social spaces and the role they play in city, we can work to improve the quality of life for residents in the city and around the world. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Dr. Nuwala and Dr. Rabarian Yard. So I think it's very interesting because although we share the same topic, but it's a very diverse project as well as the way every presenter approached the subject matter with different methodology, which is very interesting to me. I have so many questions, but I think I would like to leave to the floor first to ask question, and maybe I can follow up later. Do you have anyone has question on any particular project? Anyone? Okay, I'm going to start with the second presenter by Noor Bohola. I think it's very interesting because you were mentioning about this palimpsestic effect or the combination between new and old, which I think is very interesting. And then after that, toward the end, you juxtapose with how the approach of to history from Eastern point of view. I think you choose example in Japan, which they value the historic value rather than the age value, which I think very, very interesting juxtaposition. Although I see this palimpsestic approach is happening now in China, because China and Japan share similar approach to preservation, which is emphasized on the historic value because of the nature of the materiality of the architecture, which is usually they didn't really last long, made out of wood. So they have to emphasize on the documentation of the authentic work. So the documentation itself is the one that they preserve. The building is becoming secondary. What do you think? What is your position in the approach of Notre Dame, for instance? Because Notre Dame was restored by Viollet-le-Duc, right? And then if Viollet-le-Duc is still alive, he would have not rebuilt the way he was, because he was basically interested in the idea of making the design up to date according to the current technology. What do you think is the happening right now with Notre Dame? Dr. Bohola? Is Nur Bohola is here? Oh, okay. I guess she's not here. Oh. Anyone wants to respond to my question? Okay, let's try the next presenter. PhD candidate Manga Wede, are you here? Manga Wede. Okay, I don't think Manga Wede is here. Do you have anyone has any question on a particular subject? let me try to ask the Dr. Turkey. Dr. Turkey is here. I think you are presenting some challenges of the UNESCO heritage conservation as well as vernacular dwelling. And you also presented a new design that pay homage to and adopt the vocabulary of the vernacular. Let me see. What do you think? Because I think the challenge earlier group there was some presentation on the problem of tourism. Do you think tourism is actually contribute or pose a problem in the sense of recreating new vernacular? In this case, such as like the design of hotel. I've been traveling in many places. In a way, to some degree, it's really encouraging. Like for instance, if I go to Bali, they embrace the new hotel or new resort embracing local vernacular vocabulary. That's actually interesting, as well as I find it quite positive. But at the same time, they are adopting this vernacular vocabulary are not common people dwelling. It's mostly expensive resorts. What do you think about that, Dr. Turkey?
Hello. So toward the troglodyte architecture and the sustainability, we can valorize the cultural heritage, the natural heritage. So it's very encouraging to create hotels or tourism spaces that adapt the troglodyte architecture. So it's sustainable, it can save energy, and it's a new way to valorize the heritage.
Yeah, that place is going to be my next destination, Dr. Turkey. I always want to go to Tunisia.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Beautiful design. I have a
Thank you.
question here in the chat. It said, interesting theory through this presentation. My question is how in architectural pedagogy, these sociological approaches are taught upon? Anyone wants to try to answer that question? How does this architecture pedagogy address the sociological approaches in your courses? Do you embrace some of these approach in your courses? Maybe Dr. Turkey, since you do you embrace? I mean, I'm sure because of you presented this paper, you embrace this.
No, well, I teach on the university, so now we are inspiring from their heritage, that is the heritage in Tunisia. We are inspiring from it to create new designs with the students. We are encouraging them to know their heritage and use it in the future.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I'm teaching adaptive reuse, the topic.
Yeah.
And also sustainability. It's actually, I'm trying to look at adaptive reuse as one of the sustainable approaches, which I think you are, this is something that you are trying to present.
Yes.
Very interesting. Okay.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else who embrace into your course subject in your teaching topics? If not, then I'm going to actually give a little comment to Professor Nuwala presentation, which is very interesting. From most of the presentation before address architectural scale, and I think in your case you presented a more complex situation, which is you upscale to urban scale, especially with the complexity that you have to face. So when you approach this subject on adaptive reuse that contribute to the making of urban public spaces, there must be a very complex issue that you need to deal with. How do you think you are going to proceed? Because I think urban phenomena or urban design or urban planning is it's a very complex subject. In your course, do you present the in the multiple courses, or how do you approach that, Professor Nawala?
Hello. So, for the topic that I chose, it was an first-hand experience. I believe it started during my architecture journey. So, the space was initially, when seen, was in my early stage of architecture, and post to 7 years or 8 years, the space was quite revitalized, and it was personally experienced how the historic space of an area due to adaptive reuse created quite a journey for the city residents more than towards the tourism. Any historic city, when we believe, they are more focused towards tourism and bringing other and outside people to the good tourist spots. But when we come talk about the residents and how they can use the space, so that is one of the issue that I personally saw it and experienced it, and that is what how it could be addressed. The space cannot be just for the sake of tourism, or it couldn't be just for the sake of other people coming out to watch the city. But it could be also thought for the residents and the community that is living over there, and how they can also interact and use that space. It could not just be for the journey or historic dates they represent importance, but how they
Mhm.
can also interact in the space and grow over there.
Mhm. Very interesting. So, well, we only have 1 minute. Do you have any last comment from any audience? Dr. Aida, do you have any comment? You are muted, Dr. Aida. You are muted, Dr. Aida.
So I told you I am preparing myself for the next presentation, but I watched some of the videos. I find them so interesting. I will check them back and see what the content is. Yeah, but thank you, Dr. Wang.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. It's been a great presentation, and I'm looking forward this conversation. I will reach out to you through email. Thank you so much, and I
Thank you.
give back the panel to you, Dr. Aida.
Thank you very much. So I don't need to leave the session. Just continue.
Just continue. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Dr. Osama. How are you today? Okay.
Hello, Doctor.
So, yeah. Nice to meet you. So, good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone, based on your locations. Welcome to this session on sustainable and urban design, number 6, with a focus on urban management and social dimension. My name is Aida Mohammed Jiroshi, and I am honored to co-chair this session with Dr. Osama Septi. Before we begin, I would like to express my gratitude to the esteemed ICC UAA 24 Conference Board, led by Dr. Horkash Ahmed Nia, as well as to the Department of Architecture and the University of Alanya in Turkey for their diligence and hard work in organizing this annual meeting. So here just an overview of our session structure. We will be watching 5 presentations in the session. Each presentation recording will last for 10 minutes approximately. Following finishing all the presentations, we will have 10 minutes for a question and answer session. Please type your questions in the chat box or use the raise hand. The raise hand feature, and we will moderate the discussion. We aim to keep the session interactive, so your participation is highly encouraged. A few quick notes or tips: please ensure your microphones are muted during the presentation to avoid background noise. If you experience any technical issues, please use the chat function to reach out to our technical support team. And also, we recommend using a headset for better audio quality and closing unnecessary applications